We're with Maya Villard, one of the seniors on the Eastern Connecticut women's basketball team. Eastern is getting ready for its 2019-20 opener, and that will be November 15th at the Trinity College Invitational. Maya, you guys been going at practice for about a month now in preseason. Just in general terms, how'd the preseason go?
Yeah, so preseason is a time where you kind of work out the kinks of everything, and you learn how other people play, what their strengths, what their weaknesses are. You kind of try and mesh together, which is pretty much the goal of preseason, just figuring ourselves out as a team. Obviously, who you are October 15th is not going to be who you are in February, so we kind of keep that in mind. But just kind of instilling, the Eastern values in the freshmen, and just kind of, like I said, getting a grasp of each other. So we kind of focus on defense and how that's Eastern's, staple, as Coach Really says all the time. And mainly just working on consistency. So in practice, whether you're always competing in every single drill, whether we're running the offense correctly or we're hustling, all that, we just kind of have been focusing on consistency and how everyone is gonna be able to continue that on through the year, because whatever we do on the court at practice follows us in the game.
This was your fourth preseason. Does it get any easier, or is it? Do you start to get more comfortable because you know the offense, you know the defense, and just a matter of repetition?
Yeah, I think just over the 4 years, it's just kind of who I've become. You start off as a freshman and you're kind of just thrown into something. So as the years have gone by, you just, like, I'm a captain this year. So I think just how your role is for these preseasons, you become like the person who is being mentored to the mentor. So I think just from freshman year on to now, I think just preseason, it's essentially the same, but just how you're percepted and how you're percepted on is like kind of what's different.
You come in can you think back to your freshman year, and was it like overwhelming? I know you came from a good high school program.
Yeah. It wasn't really overwhelming because we had Julia DePoy and Jordan, Lexus, so the leadership level of that team was incredible. So you kind of find yourself like confused a little bit, but once again you have someone to look up to, like Lex. Sometimes I would just be, I don't know what I was even doing, but she would just kind of push me into the right spot and stuff like that. So I wasn't really thrown into something because I had the resources to help me with the captain, stuff like that. But it's definitely an incredible change from high school. The game is much faster. But going into there, I had a role, and it was different from the high school role because obviously I'm a freshman, but I think just with the resources that I had was what made it just kind of not as different as you would think you would.
Do you pride yourself on your consistency? Because if you look at your rebounding numbers, scoring numbers, field goal, free throw percentage, if you think about that over your 4 years, it's been very, very consistent.
Yeah. Over my 4 years, just kind of I know who I am as a player, so I know what's expected of me, and one of my strengths is to score, and I've got good teammates that pass it into me, so I know that I need to score each game. I know that I need to rebound as a post. So just over the past 3 years or so, it's just kind of the same. We have the same game plan essentially. So I know that I need to go in the game. I need to score, and I think the team has like awareness of that as well, because we're just kind of like a pounded-in team sometimes. So I think just over the years, I just kind of continue what I do, and the consistency just kind of comes with it.
Well, in your career, you've averaged well over, I would say at least in the last 3 years, you've averaged well over 30 minutes a game. But you're a great free throw shooter. Does it get difficult to make free throws when you've been on the court for almost the entire game?
Yeah, once you have been playing, by the fourth quarter, you're kind of tired and fatigued. And, being a post, like I said, I'm always constantly getting fouled. So you can't, if you're going to go to the line and miss them, you're kind of just wasting the opportunities for your whole team as a whole. So by the time it gets fourth quarter, the wear and tear is kind of coming on. You just kind of have to, I just kind of sit there and do my routine, relax. And, like I said at the UMass Dartmouth, the game was on the line, and you just kind of got to just breathe it through and sink it in.
What do you think when they're scouting you guys and they're going through their walkthrough, what do you think teams are saying to try and stop you? How are they trying to get you out of your game, do you think?
I think the constant double team, the triple team that I've seen all last year is just, I think it's just double down on the post so that they're you kind of play it. You either double team me and someone else is open, or you play everyone straight up. But I think with the double team, they're kind of risking it, see if the guard can make the shot, or or see if I can get out of the jam or something like that. I think they're just the double teams kind of to cause a frenzy, and I mean, I don't want to say it worked, but being triple team and double team, like it's kind of annoying. But at the end of the day, somebody else is open on the perimeter, so I have faith in them. Kick it out to them, and they'll make the shot.
I would think teams would rather have us shoot a three than give you the ball down low.
Yeah,
I mean, they think there's a better chance of that.
They're always sagging the weak side, and I think they'd rather have them shoot it too. But like I said, this year we have some good shooters, so if they're gonna double team me, I know that Lizzie will make it. Lizzie Cretella, Julie Keckler can definitely make the three and stuff like that. So with the double team, someone's gonna be open.
You've got 6 out of your top 8 people back from last year, and even though you have 11 freshmen and sophomores, it doesn't feel like a young team.
No, I think with last year's, Jenna Sarantino, Julie Keckler, Anna Berry, all being thrown into the mix mid-season, they have like incredible experience under their belt, as well as I've been playing with Lizzie Cretella, Sab, Sabrina Lemire, and Tara since I was a freshman. So I think that with everyone just knows exactly what everyone's going to do. And I think that with the freshmen or the sophomores now getting so many minutes last year that they won't even be phased this year.
How much did the development of 6-foot freshman last year, Anna Berry, help your game, help open things up?
I mean, Anna Berry is just a freak of nature athlete. She's kind of the type of player where we call her a cheat code because she'll run down the court, beat everyone. She's so long and lengthy, you just throw it to her and she just kind of catches any single pass you passed her, whether it be good or bad. It's typically bad passes, but she is so consistent. Also with her demeanor and her defense is just something that you can always someone blows by you and you know that Anna Berry's going to be able to block her. So
could you? I'd say the last couple of weeks of the year when Anna really started to get more minutes and was in the starting lineup, could you really feel yourself getting a little bit more freedom down low where you could sort of tell people I had to start watching her?
Yeah, I mean, if you're if you're going to double off the post as well, which some teams do, then Anna's going to be like I said, she can pass her anywhere. So if you pass her a bad pass, she's going to catch it. So I think that no one really had a clue who Anna was. Obviously, she's a freshman, but once she started, doing what she does, people kind of took notice, and you can't double team everyone. So if Anna Berry's gonna be open, she's gonna sink it. So. And
she was always she's also the last line of defense where she's a shot blocker if they get by you guys.
So that's very helpful. Mm-hmm. I know the guards can talk about that too, because when you get blown by, like my freshman year, Lexus Foster was always right there to just boom it away. So with Anna Berry, you know that she's gonna be there, which is easing in your mind, because sometimes you do get your doors blown off and you're like, ooh, but Anna Berry she's always there. So I think it's just a really key to our defense is her being right there.
Let's talk about 2 games, and you alluded to the UMass Dartmouth game. You lost by 20 at home to Dartmouth, the number 1 seed in the tournament.
Yep.
Then you had to go down there in the Little East Finals, and you beat them in overtime. Talk a little bit about that game. What was the difference between those 2 games?
Yeah, so when we lost by 20, we kind of just put that game in our blinders, and it was kind of a game where you went in and you're just like, wow, we just really got our doors blown off, and you remember that game, but you also want to just kind of get over it. So when we played them a couple weeks later, you remember that we just lost by 20, but our game plan was different. We focused on double teaming as well as guarding the guards, and I think that the time that in those 2 weeks or so, it was a whole different team. We had Anna Berry matured, and Kelsey, she was shooting the jump shots, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Kelsey Santagata. Yeah. And Julie Keckler was on fire from 3. Lizzie Cretella had good minutes. Sab, Sabrina Lemire, she's up on the defensive end and stuff like that. So I think everything just kind of came together. In that last game, we kind of had our aha moment, and it happened to be the LEC championship game. And I think that game was just everything came together, and that was a wow moment for us.
Talk about the incredible battle between you and Examond. Is her first name Nakira?
Yeah,
Nakira Examond, the 6-foot All-American for UMass Dartmouth. Talk about in overtime, you both had 4 fouls. Talk about that matchup and how intense it must have been.
I mean, over my 3 years, I've had to guard her, and she's really strong-bodied. She's a good player. She's All-American. she is their best player ever. So I think that with her, you don't kind of look at it like, oh, I have to guard her, but it's kind of like she kind of makes you better in a way, and she's just tough. She's really, really tough, and she always has been tough. So it's more of, it wasn't even just like me guarding her. Essentially, we had to do some double teams, stuff like that. But going against an All-American and the conference best player, it was annoying, but it also was kind of a fun journey.
Did you have to, when it got to be the fourth quarter in overtime in that game, and you had 4 fouls, did you have to sort of adjust your game? It's like, I cannot foul out of this game.
Yeah, you have to. I think Julie Keckler fouled out, and then I think at the end of the game, Anna Berry had 4.
Yeah.
Julie Jordan had 4. So you can't, you want to do a lot of things like go hard on the crash the boards and stuff like that, but is it really worth it? Is 2 points really worth me sitting out for another 5 minutes or so, which is kind of how you think about it in the game. You do have to, relax a little bit, and things that you wish you could do, you can't do, but it's I'd rather be out on the court than for a stupid foul or something.
It must be hard to guard that girl when you have 4 fouls, and
Yeah.
if you move, you're going to get called for the foul, and it's over.
Yeah, as a post, she's probably had this too, but they call a lot of dumb fouls. You can be straight up, they'll call a foul, but they call it for me as well.
Yeah.
But you just kind of have to be straight up. You have to trust that you're doing the right thing, essentially. I mean, at that point, the game's kind of out of your hands in that, if the ref's going to call a foul or not, but just kind of being straight up, and it's in the back of your head because they do call some crazy fouls, and you're like, really? But that can't be like your focus in the moment, but yeah.
You got to keep your composure.
Yep.
Let's talk about one other game, the Amherst game, the nationally ranked Amherst. You went down there. You had lost to them by 40 the last time you played them at Amherst, and you absolutely stunned Division III basketball by beating Amherst in that game on their home court. They were 164-1 in their last 165 home games. Just talk about that feeling of that game.
Yeah, I mean, so like you said, we lost by 40. So my freshman, sophomore year, they're Amherst. They always have been one of the top teams in the nation. So when you go into a game like that, you're not like negative, but like I said, you're kind of just like, we got to play Amherst again. So losing with them by 40, you kind of remember that in your head. So we kind of just started it up like a normal game, and they never kind of just expanded their lead. We just remained with them. So once fourth quarter came, we had so many shots, they didn't make any shots, and we were just kind of a resilient bunch. Like we just kept coming back and back, and I think that kind of showed our character in that game. Just being against such a good team and not kind of knocking down was really good, and that's one of our highlights of our career for sure.
I think the way Amherst probably looked at that game is like when you got into the third and fourth quarter, they're probably saying, all right, we're waiting for Eastern to fold.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you can compete at so much to a certain team, and then they kind of just wind off. But we just stayed resilient, kept going. But I think that was the last thing that they ever would think happened. I think that was the last thing we ever thought would happen too.
Sometimes I think when you go into one of those games, in the back of your mind, you're saying, please don't let us get embarrassed.
Yeah.
Because if it starts out bad and they're up like 15-0,
it's just like, we traveled all the way out here to get, So I think with the 40 points, you don't want to assume that you're going to get, plummeted, but that's in the back of your head. But like I said, we just kind of toughed it out, and a miracle, we beat Amherst. In certain moments at the end of the game, we were down by 4, and you're like, wow, we could really do this.
Yeah.
And we really did do it. It was just an overall team effort, so.
It must have been phenomenal when that game ended.
Yeah. We kind of all jumped in a circle, and
Yeah.
you thought we probably won the national championship. In our eyes, we did.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you beat a team that has won several.
Yeah.
They were the 2-time national champion. Last question, Maya. Your last season, any tangible goals for this team, or is it basically always the same goals for this team?
It's typically always the same goals. Win the regular season, win the Little East Conference, and then kind of make your march into the NCAAs. But I think last year winning the LECs, we checked off our goal. But I think I still would like to make a run in the NCAA tournament. That's something that Eastern has done in the past. I know they've been to Elite Eight and stuff like that. So that's something that we really want to do really badly. But obviously the first goal is to win an LEC championship. But like I said, our main goal this year is kind of be consistent and win when we need to win. Instead of kind of just dilly-dallying through the regular season, coming like alive at the end. I think we need to be a consistent team on a regular basis.
So Eastern opens up its season November 15th. They're going to be at the Trinity College Invitational, opening up with Trinity College. Maya, thanks for being here. Good luck this year.
Thank you.